I'm doing my very first art show in 3 days, and I'm so excited. This has been the most fulfilling experience of my entire life. I had been pushing it off for 5 years prior to setting a date because I was so terrified. And I'm so glad that I finally pushed myself and forced myself to do it, even though I was still so scared and there was still so many things I did not know how to do an expo. Um, yeah, so the backstory is that I've been painting all my life. Well, since I was a teenager, I've always loved it. I went to college for it for a year and I got so intimidated by all the other artists because they were so much better than me because I had never had any art training before that. I just liked painting and I had a lot of health issues, so I hadn't put a lot of time in it, but I just liked playing around with paint from time to time, and I knew that I wanted to learn more, and my teachers were horrible. I mean, they were really kind, but they were not really good at teaching us anything. Like, it was more free periods in an art class. So that did not help me learn more how to paint and how to do color theory. And it was literally like you had assignments and then you could ask your questions to the teacher, and all the class was free period. And that was not helpful. That was not teaching, you know? So it left me super intimidated, and then I just kept that feeling in my brain telling me that even though I would love to be an artist, it would take me so much effort to catch up to people who were already so much better than me. So it wasn't even worth trying, and so I would just find another career. And I kept, painting here and there when I felt like it, just for me, and then posting it a little bit because I was still kind of proud of what I did, but just to my family and friends, and not really investing a lot of energy into that. And I tried other careers, and my health issues, prohibited me from going into other avenues, and right now I can't work because of them. So yeah, it turned out that like 2 years ago, I had kind of the choice between asking for disability aid or trying this government program in Canada where I live, where you can propose a project that will help your employability, and they pay you for between a month and a year to work on that project. So the project that I submitted to them was doing my art portfolio and learning and really giving my 100% shot and taking classes and learning for that year and doing my portfolio, finding my art style. And my project was accepted, and I was very, very, very blessed with that. I'm so thankful that I had that opportunity. I learned so much during that year. Most of the work that I'm showing in this art show is coming from that year. It was exhausting though. I did go into burnout after that, and I haven't painted really anything in a year and a half since that stopped. So I finished the program a year and a half ago, and I think I painted 2 things, maybe 3 in that time, and it was recently. And because I was just burned out, and I put that on the side for a little bit, and so last December we moved houses, and then when I was unpacking all of my paintings here, I realized I have an art studio upstairs, and I want to be a painter. I will be a painter. I am already a painter. I would like to live off of my painting in the future. And I was unpacking all of my paintings, and I was like, okay, you've been telling everybody that you're going to do an art show for 5 years. It's time to do it. Like, you have all the artwork to do it. Go do it. So there was all of these roadblocks that I was putting in my head, all of these things that I wanted to do before, that I thought that I had to do before. First one being, I wanted to buy a professional camera to take professional quality photos of my artwork, to do prints or keep souvenirs or just to, mostly to do prints and other products of the ones that I really liked. Because I thought if I do an art show and I sell the piece, then I will never be able to sell any reproductions in any forms in the future. So I have to take good pictures of them before selling them, which is true, but I did not know how to take good pictures of my art. So that was one of the reasons that I let myself be stopped. So in the beginning of this year, I started shopping around for cameras. So I reached out to some photographers that I knew, and they helped me pick out. My boyfriend's cousin was selling a camera for $500 with 3 lenses. That's professional quality. It's expensive, but you know, I asked my other 2 friends who were photographers, and they said that for the camera that it is, it was a really good deal and to go with that. So that's what I did. That was a big chunk of money, but that's what I did. And then my roadblock became learning this fancy camera. I don't know how it works. It was really intimidating. I didn't know the perfect settings to use to take good quality pictures of the art, and then editing them so that they're really 100% accurate to the painting. All about that was so stressful. So once again, like I ended up reaching out to my friends and being like, okay, how do I set up this camera? I can't figure that out by myself. If I try to Google it, it's just, I'm sure I could have, but there was so much information, and I had, 2 other photographers than the one that sent me, the one that sold me the camera, that I could ask. So I asked both of them. They told me very complimentary information. They gave me advice, and I set the camera and I started doing that. And then it just, honestly, taking those pictures and finding the courage to take those pictures was like a 6-month process. I started shopping around for that camera, I think in February, and I finished the pictures in September or October. So I decided that I wanted to do my art expo in May. In April or May, I decided, yeah, okay, we're doing the expo this summer. I had found the art, I had found a co-op in Montreal. Well, it's a third space. I don't know how you call that. And every time that I try to tell somebody that it's a third space, no one knows what that is. So I just call it a co-op because it's also a co-op. Like, they're members and they all pay to be part of the co-op, and then, people who come and use the place pay, like, give money and donate so that the space can stay communal. So it's a co-op. I found that co-op like 3 or 4 years ago. They have painting nights, which were really fun, but then I started working on those nights, so I couldn't go. So we only went twice, me and my friend. But I always remember that place, and I loved it, and I knew that we went to see an art expo that another artist did at their space, and I knew that they were a lot more affordable than probably anything else that I could find in Montreal. It is $250 plus tax for the whole day on Sunday. There's only my event happening, only the vernissage, and then my art is staying on the walls for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Thursday I have to go take it down. So during that week, everyone that comes to work in the co-working space can see that, and then on Tuesday and Wednesday there are events put on by the co-op. So there's going to be a lot of other people that come to those nights. So it's a really good opportunity for not that expensive. It was a lot of money for me because, as I said, I was not working. But have a little savings, and it's my birthday gift to myself, and from like all of them, like the money that I get from my parents for my birthday and from my grandparents, everything went into that. And then I put up the rest of it so that it was exactly what I wanted it to be. And honestly, I'm really glad that I did that, because everything that I have gotten out of this experience so far, even without that day having happened yet, was worth that money. It was way more than any class or course or whatever could have taught me and helped me with my art journey, which is why I'm telling you, if you want to do an art expo and you are letting fear stop you, it is worth kicking yourself in the butt at some point and saying, okay, now is enough. Now I have to do it, even though I'm scared. because that's the best way that you are going to learn. That's the best way that you're going to get over your fears. At least that's the best way. It was the best thing for me. So I found that place. I knew I wanted to have it there. I knew it was not too expensive. I was still pushing. I had started minding myself March or April. Yeah, April or May. So I started going around thrift shops, buying frames and shopping for frames because I had a lot of drawings that I wanted framed so that I could sell them and could hang them and could protect them. And then I started, like, they were all mismatched, not the right size, so I had to figure out, like, which drawing went into what frame and repaint all the frames and what color do you repaint the frame, what frame goes well with what picture. That was a whole process that I learned a lot about framing art from. That was very, very, like, if I had to do it all over again, I would do it completely differently. I learned so much. I was buying these tiny frames and cutting the pictures, and I learned how I wanted to present my drawings, which another thing that I learned that I would not have pushed myself to do if I didn't have to hang all of these drawings on a wall to showcase them. And I broke one of the frames while taking a picture, and I had one frame missing from the first batch of frame that I did, and I went back to the thrift store last week, and it was so much easier to shop around. I knew what I wanted. I knew what would work well for those paintings, and it was easy to buy, and the results were great. Sadly, I broke another one of the glass of the two new frames because I put them on the floor because my studio is completely invaded and there's no space left, and I stepped on it without realizing it. So I have to do that process all over again and still need to shop for one frame in the 3 days that I have, well, 2 days of prep that I have left. But now I'm not really intimidated by that step, which is huge because the first time around, it took me probably a month and a half to frame maybe 6 pictures, which sounds ridiculous, but anxiety and having stuff to do and not knowing how to do it is really something that paralyzes me a lot. And so that's why I'm saying all of this experience that I've learned, it's priceless. Because now, last week, I went there, I bought 2 frames, I painted them in a day, I knew exactly how I wanted to frame them. I bought double-sided tape to hang the picture so it was floating in the frame because I bought a bigger frame than the picture needed, and the result was just great. I painted the background black. It was perfect. So I just need to buy another frame that's exactly the same size and do it all over again. But now I know that even though I have 2 days, I can do it all. It will be great. It will be fine. I know exactly what I want it to look like. I know how to shop around for the frame. I'm very, very proud. So at first it was throughout the time that I was making the frames, I was still gathering my courage to take the pictures and trying slowly, and I had 42 artworks to photograph, so just that was long. Yeah, even when I started figuring out how my camera worked and what setting was okay, like 42 frames in artwork to take pictures of took multiple days throughout months because anxiety. And first I tried to take them during the day. So for like a month and a half, I was trying to be well enough in my body to be able to wake up really, really early because I only get sun in my studio at like 6, 7 a.m. And with everything that's wrong with my body, a lot of the times I go to bed at like 3 or 4 a.m. So just that was a big thing that made the thing procrastinate. And then I realized that the picture that I took with just the sunlight were not good. I was better off with the fake lighting and the studio lighting from above. So then I tried to set up that, and I had 2 photography light and 1 light bulb in my ceiling light, and they were all the same light bulb, and then it was okay. So then I started retaking the pictures with that setting. So then I had to take the pictures at night when there was no more sun out, because that would mess up everything. So I had to wait until it was dark. So I had to wait for days when I was feeling good. I still had energy at night, and then I wasn't so anxious that I would actually go and do the picture. Procrastination is a powerful, powerful thing. Sorry, I have the flu, which is not great when you're planning an expo. I woke up this morning and I had a fever, and I went back to bed for multiple hours, and then I was glad that I could do some of the things on my to-do list. So yeah. This summer I started to do the pictures. I hung all of the hanging hardware behind my frames. Like, my objective was to try and do everything that I needed to do as soon as possible so that I could pick a date, because I didn't want to pick a date and then not have time to do everything that I needed to do. I know I have health issues, so I didn't want to, start working on my expo in May and then schedule a date for July and not have had it done. And then what are you gonna do? Like, you've paid for the date, you've invited everybody, and you're not ready. That sounded like a terrible idea. I thought I would get everything done way earlier. I did not think that I would have an expo in October. I truly thought that I could do it in like August. But everything was a lot longer to do. So yeah, I hung all of that hanging hardware on all 42 of my artworks. Hung the drawings in frames, made sure the frames could be hung. That was one of my issues. I redid a frame that could not be hung. I tried really hard, but the back was just disintegrating. That's how it fell on the floor, and the glass broke, so I had to redo it. But the first time that I was shopping around for frame, I didn't know what I was doing, and so I felt like there were none of the frames that I needed because they were all too big, and then I realized how I could use bigger frames. So I tried to make a framework because I thought that was my only option, because I had done multiple thrift shops and there was just no frames the size that I thought that I needed. So you live and you learn. Anyway, so then it came August. It was a really busy summer, for no particularly good reason. My boyfriend and I just went to a lot of shows during the weekends, and I got procedure done on my back in March that left me in just incredibly terrible pain for the next 3 months, and then I saw my doctor and he gave me a cream that ended up working a month later. So it was a busy year, and my boyfriend lives 2.5 hours from me, so usually when I go see him I stay a week, and so I was only a week here. And so all that to say that it wasn't going really fast, the whole putting up the art show. And so when came August, I was like, oh my, like, summer's almost ending. Well, summer is pretty much ending. I want to do this art show while people can still walk around in Montreal and I can still have foot traffic. I don't want to do this in the winter, and I don't want to do it next summer. I want to do it now. So that's when I decided, okay, we're going to do that in October max. Well, I was thinking September or October. I was like, I have to set a date. We're done procrastinating. I was already done procrastinating in April. I thought it's the summer that's happening, but then just realizing everything that I had to do took time and intimidated me. And so August, I really set my foot down and I was like, no, we're not doing that anymore. We're not missing this opportunity. We're doing it now. So I checked the schedules and I checked the times, and I realized that my birthday was coming up, and I knew that I felt really shitty about my birthday because growing up and growing older is really confronting because of all of the health issues that I've been through. I feel like it's just a reminder of everything that I've lost and all of the time that I have lost. My life is nowhere near where I wanted it to be. I haven't experienced half the stuff that I would have liked to do. It's really kept me from doing a lot of things, and I don't like the feeling. I especially don't like having that feeling at 27. Like, well, I don't, I'm going to be 27, in September 12th. was the 13th year anniversary of the day that I got sick at 13 years old. So it was the halfway point. From that day forward, I have been sick more days than I have been healthy in my life. And that was a really, really hard thing to like, okay, accept. And so that's why this year was really heavy, and I thought there's still things that I can do to make this life what I want it to be. I can be a painter, I can paint. That is something that's accessible to me even with my health constraints. All that's stopping me is fear and not knowing what I'm doing and needing to learn. And I can learn. I can do it. And I've been doing it, and I'm so incredibly proud. So I decided that it would be really, really poetic to do my very first expo the week of my birthday, and it gets disassembled, like it ends on my birthday. So I just thought that was really satisfying for me to be able to say that I did my first art expo, solo art expo at 26. That's just, I feel really good about that. Which there was no problem if you're doing it way later in your life. It's just, I'm really proud of myself for stopping to procrastinate, because I have been telling people that I want to do this for 5 years. And, you know, there's been a lot of stuff happening in my life. I don't think it was the moment before, but it was the moment now, and I'm really glad that I seized it and then that I did it, even though I was still terrified and did not know what I was doing at all. I did so much research on YouTube. I will be making a video about how to do an art expo with like a step-by-step and like checklists, because I did so much prep and so much research, and I planned it out so meticulously. Like, I have it down to a formula, and I will gladly share it with anybody who wants to do their art expo, because it's just so overwhelming, and I haven't found like one resource that is really concise. I'm sure there's some out there, but I searched a lot, and I had to compose my own, and I will be sharing it because we're all here to help each other. So yeah, I decided to set that date, so I contacted the event place that I did it, where I'm doing it at, and I reserved that date, and then another issue hit. I had to learn how to do the graphic and the whole visual presentation, the flyers and the publicity and the Instagram post, and all the graphic design. I had never done graphic design in my life. I looked for inspiration online and found something that I thought was good looking and tried to do something really similar and edited it a little bit to fit more my vision and my color palette, and I'm so proud of the result. It was a lot of hours of work, and there too I lost a lot of days of procrastinating in between because I was so terrified. It was such a new thing to learn that it's hard to push yourself to try something new, and so I lost some days there, but I did it, and now I know how, and I've done like small flyers, big flyers, you know, medium flyers. I've done like, it's just, I've really explored that. I've done a flyer for to put on the wall in the expo so that people can find me on social media and my email, and it's just like the fact that graphic design doesn't totally terrify me anymore is a huge step. I did not think that I would get there. You know, I did it on like Procreate on my tablet and stuff, and I really was not great at Procreate. I still am not great, but I learned a lot, and I got a lot more comfortable with some of the tools that's on there. That's a pro that I did not anticipate. So yeah, I did the visual, I created an event on Facebook. I've been inviting everyone that I know on Facebook and Instagram for the last week, and Facebook marked me as a spammer, and it blocked me from sending messages to my friends. So apparently you can't spam your friend. Well, I don't understand how they even recognize it as spam, because if you're in my Facebook friends, you should be able to send me whatever message you want with an event in it. That's why we're friends. If you are making an event, I want you to spam me. I want you to invite me. I know you. I care about you. So I don't understand why I can't do the exact same thing. I don't understand how Facebook, like, if I didn't like somebody and I didn't want them to invite me to stuff and send me messages with links and stuff, I would not have them in my friends. I didn't send them to anybody that I don't know. I sent them to my friends. But I got blocked. So there might be a little less people coming because there was a lot of people. There was like 250 people that I was not able to invite personally, and no one saw. Well, not no one, but like 50 people out of 550 people saw my invite when I just invited them on Facebook. So many people that I reached out to and wrote personally to be like, hey, I'm doing an expo, please come see me, had no idea. So that was also a really big exercise in taking space and putting yourself out there and being vulnerable and telling people, hey, I'm doing this thing. And the response has been so nice. There's so many people that I haven't talked to in so long that I still care for a lot. That's my only rule. I've written to everybody, but only people that I like. I don't care if we haven't talked in 10 years. If I truly loved you back then and we had a good relationship and a good link and I had an attachment to you back then, even if we haven't talked in 10 years, I will write to you. But I won't write to anybody that I would not be thrilled to see again, because I feel like that's disingenuous. Like, yeah, of course I would like to have a ton of people come to my expo, but I'm not gonna write to somebody that I didn't really like, you know? That's where my line is. But yeah, if you're doing an expo, I would highly, highly recommend to write to everybody that you have ever met and ever had a good rapport with. I wrote to some of my like physiotherapists and therapists and doctors, and there's so many of them that were so glad that I wrote to them. Like I said, I was sick a lot, so I saw a lot of them very frequently when I was like a teenager. So I think some of them have like this also sense of attachment, or like, you know, if you see a sick teenager, you're gonna build a different rapport to them than a sick adult a lot of the times. Not always, actually, maybe not, because there's also people that I've invited that were my health professionals, physical health professionals, that I met as an adult, and I wrote to them and they were so thrilled that I was doing this thing because they were really excited that I had the energy to do it, and they like me, so they were glad that I was doing something good. So yeah, I was so surprised by how many people actually wanted to come. I'm extremely thrilled. So yeah, it's just, this thing has been, that's kind of the story of how it happened. The last 2 weeks have been absolutely insane in prep. I've also retouched some of my artwork that was damaged because some of it is 10 years old, anywhere from a year and a half old to 10 years old. And I was able to retouch it, and you cannot see that where it was damaged. And that was really intimidating. I did not think that I would be able to do that. I only have one frame to fix left. I think I had like 10 or 15. But like a lot of them were just the outside that needed repainting, but 2 of them needed like meticulous attention, and the last one that I have also needs meticulous attention, and I fixed them and they look perfect. And that was just a real confidence booster. I'm telling you, this whole experience has been such a confidence booster. It made me realize that I'm way more capable than I thought I was. I just let myself be so limited by fear and by not knowing how to do something, and then putting a deadline where it's like, look, the expo's in 3 days. If you don't fix this piece of artwork, you can't show it and you can't sell it. So you have to at least try, because anyway, no one's gonna see it or buy it. So even if you mess up, that's not in a worse position than you already were, because it was broken, or it was, yeah. And then I fixed it. And that's just a feeling of accomplishment. I wish that on everybody. I was so terrified. Like, and just like, another thing that completely freaked me out was setting prices, and I'm still very freaked out about that part. That's the big part that I'm very afraid that people would judge me for the prices that my boyfriend put my artwork at. I let him pick them because I don't think I can be objective about it, because if I don't like an artwork, I'm gonna put it way cheaper than something that I like, and that's not how you do it. But yeah, I'm really scared of the judgment part on that. That's something that I will have to work through. I don't think that will be resolved on this expo, but I trust my boyfriend enough, and he has reassured me enough that I trust him to set the price, and I'm going to let it go and work through my discomfort and just live with my awkwardness and not try to change it or try to put my artwork like 50% cheaper than what he said. Maybe not all of them, but you know, some of them I'm like, ugh. So yeah, this has been the best thing ever. I'm in such a good mood. I learned so much. I realized how capable I am. I feel so fulfilled. I can't wait to start painting again because I haven't painted in a year and a half. And all this summer, every time that I would step into my studio, I was working on this expo and not painting because everything was everywhere, and I knew that I wanted to do this, and this was more important than creating new stuff. But I can't wait to create new stuff and then do another expo later to show it off. The thing I'm the most proud of, I think, is that I don't even care about the result at that point. At this point, like, the expo's in 3 days. So I don't know if it's a success. I don't know if it's a failure. I'm trying not to have any expectations. I think my only expectations for it is to have fun and to learn. And so far, that's what I did throughout the whole process. I've had so much fun and so much joy, a lot of anxiety, but it all worked out fine. Like last week, we went to hang up posters all over the surroundings of the place in Montreal, and we talked to people, and then someone asked for my flyer in the street, and it was just such a great day. And that too was something that I was terrified to do, going and hanging things up and taking place and being like, hey, this thing that I'm doing matters, please come see it. Like, I think it's worth your time. That is something that I have to work on because I'm not great at doing that. I'm great at like erasing myself in the wall and doing my things in silence and just not talking about my dreams with anybody and not being good at being vulnerable. And that's something that I want to change and am changing, and I'm very, very, very proud of myself every time that I take a step in that direction. And I'm also very thankful to my boyfriend who came with me to put up the flyers because I would not have been able to do that by myself. I think that was also a great thing to learn throughout this expo, was what things could I truly not do alone and how to ask for help. That's not my strong suit. Asking for help is not something that comes naturally, and especially in this expo thing, because I didn't know how to do any of it, so I didn't know how to delegate anything. But I knew that to go put up the artwork, I needed to not be alone to do it, and to set the prices, I knew that I could not do that by myself. So those were the two things that I asked his help for, and he was right there for me. So that was really, really great, and we had a great weekend doing that. And also, his mom is the sweetest woman on earth. Well, you know, with my mom, and well, she's great. His mom was great, and she offered to do some food for the vernissage. So at the expo, we're gonna have I'm gonna be there. That's also something that I'm really, really happy for. I'm gonna be there from 1 to 9 since I have the place all day. So that allows a lot more people to come by, and that allows me to actually talk to people, because that's what I realized. I did 2 group shows, and the thing that I loved the most about them was being able to talk to other artists about their work and to have discussions about my artwork, their artwork, everything art. And so I'm really, really excited. And even when I go to artist shows, I love talking to them. I love having the opportunity to ask questions about the process and hear stories. And when you're doing only a vernissage for 2 hours, there's not a lot of time to talk to everybody, especially if you invite everyone that you know. I'm once again, I don't know if people are going to show up or not. I'm trying not to have any expectations. At least my boyfriend, his mom, and my parents will be there. that is already 4 people that I love that will show up for me for 100%. So I'm trying not to have any expectations further than that. But you know, the thing that I wanted to do the most was have conversations with people that day. Like if there was a couple random people that came from the street, the sign that will be on the street, and just came in and looked around and talked to me, that would make my day. Like I want to talk to people about what they think of my artwork, and if they make art themselves, or if they have questions about anything, or if they have advice because they're artists themselves. I love going to art shows and talking to the artists, and just I love art. I want to be talking about it way more than I am. And these moments are great. They're amazing. So that's what I want for that day. And I think that's an acceptable expectations. I'm trying not to have any expectations of selling the artwork, even though I put a lot of effort in it and, you know, bought packaging material to bring it over there safely. And I really don't know what to expect with that side. So I'm trying not to have any expectations on that front. I will let you know if I succeeded, because I will only know that after it happened, because I suck at knowing what my expectations are. I usually discover them when they're either met or disappointed. But I'm really trying to focus this day on it being a great learning experience, it being a pleasant experience about art, and it just being my first time doing it, so that next time, if I have, you know, a maybe more cohesive body of work, because right now the artwork that I'm showing, I love it. Most of it I think is great, really, really great. Well, for like a beginner, you know, I like it. I think it's great. Maybe not really, really great, but I think it's great. I'm proud of it. But it's not a cohesive body of work. Like there's no theme. The theme is following your dream, and the description of the expo is that it was my birthday and that I was freaking out, and that I realized that it was because my life's not where I want it to be, and that I decided to change that by realizing this dream that I have had for so long. And so I'm just showing all of the artwork that I've ever made that I'm proud of. Like that is the theme of my expo, and I think it's a really solid theme. I didn't want to have to wait until I did a whole new batch of artwork, because I think that would have been another excuse to procrastinate. Like I said, I like the artwork that I did. I'm proud of it, and I feel very comfortable showing it to people, saying, hey, I made that. Like, I don't feel any shame towards that. I do think that I will improve in the future, normally. But even though it's not a cohesive body of work, I still thought that it was worth sharing it and showing it. And the fact that now I will have had done one expo next time, if it's more serious and more professional and more polished group of artwork that I have, I will also have the experience to make the expo and the vernissage fit that and be more experienced, because it will not be my first. So that's the thing that I'm trying to value. And yeah, the big takeaway that I have from this is that even if it hasn't happened yet, I already think that it was worth the cost, because of everything that I learned, all the experiences that I've gained, the skills that I've gained, and the confidence that I've gained. Like, I will finish this expo way more confident as an artist than what I started it at, and I did not expect that. I expected to be terrified the whole process, and to be kind of fearful and like half ashamed of it, because that's the feeling that I always have. But I'm really proud and confident, and I've repeated myself, but I feel way more capable. I've learned a lot of things, and I think even just the next expo will be so much faster to put together, because now I know when I finished an artwork, like next batch of art that I do, I want to experiment with varnishes, because this batch of artwork I have not varnished. That was something that intimidated me, so I didn't do it, and then I wanted to do it for the expo, and then there was no time, so they're not varnished, because I was scared that it would mess up the look. That's the next thing that I want to learn. I want to learn how to varnish, and what finishes that I like, what finishes matches with which type of artwork and all of that. But I know that when I finish a piece of artwork, I know how to photograph it. I don't have to wait to have 30 of them. I can photograph each and every one of them as I finish them to then already put them online to do prints and products and post better quality pictures on Instagram when I show them in Facebook. And I know how, like, figure out how to protect it so it doesn't damage. I'm gonna already hang the hanging hardware on it. I know how to shop for frames really easily. So next that I want to do an art expo, I think first of all of my artwork will already be ready to be on an expo. So I'm only gonna have to focus about, you know, figuring out what food I want to lay out. Like, I still have to bake a cake tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna have time for all of that. You know, setting up a payment method or all of that, you know, that question. But right now, one of the things that takes a lot of times is setting up the artwork and preparing the artwork, because I just did not know how to do that. And next time I will know how to do it. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I still have a lot of things to do for my art show, but I think I wake up every day feeling anxious about the amount of things that I have to do and the amount of things that I don't know how to do. And every day this week I have done something that I didn't really know how to do, or that intimidated me, or that there was a step in there that freaked me out, and I did it, and I left every day, I finished every day feeling so incredibly proud and capable and confident and proud that it's just been a great week, even though it's been a very, very demanding week, and I have the flu and I'm sleeping like shit. And I'm anxious about the day because I'm scared that I'm going to run out of time and not have the time to finish everything. It's just been such a positive experience. Also an experience in learning how to prioritize, because I was not prioritizing the right things at the beginning of the week. And then I realized, oh my, I need to do the things that I absolutely need to do before I do the things that we can go without. Because I can't go without a piece of artwork, but I can go without a flyer, you know? So yeah, it's great. If you're thinking about doing an art expo and you're afraid, I think it's really important to figure out if it's the right time and figure out why you're afraid and what's holding you back, and if it's just too much for you right now, because I do think that it's not always the right time depending on what you're going through. But if it's just fear holding you back, do it. Do it scared, but do it anyway. That would be my advice, because you're going to learn and you're going to stop being scared. You're going to figure out how to do it. You're going to ask around. You're going to ask for advice. I love it. Like this weekend we went to an art expo. While we were hanging the flyers, we went to a gallery, and it was the artist's first time doing an expo too. And I asked her a bunch of questions, and she gave me a bunch of answers about how she did her thing, and it made me think like, oh, do I want to do that? It gave me points of reference and advice and ideas for my own thing, and do I like this? Do I want to do that? Like, that's how you learn. And you know what? Even if it's not the greatest thing the first time around, it's fine. You still did it. You're still going to be hella proud of yourself for doing it. That I am 100% sure of. And the great thing about this life is that it doesn't have to be perfect the first time around, because you're going to be able to do it again. If you liked it and you were just not satisfied with it 100%, next time you do it, you're going to be able to tweak the things that you didn't like the first time around. You know, you can make like 100 art expos in your life if you want to. If you paint enough, there's no limit. So, you know, it's not, the first time is not sacred. Your first art expo, it can be whatever it is. And it's just the first one. And then you can do 10 more, 100 more, 5 more, 1 more, whatever you feel like it. None more. Maybe you're going to realize that you hate art expos, never want to do that again. And going to realize that you would rather sell your artwork and publish your artwork in another way. And that's great too. Just, yeah. I'm going to stop rambling. I'm really, really excited, and I'm going to go rest to be able to continue prepping for this, because the to-do list is still very, very long. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope if you made it this far. It was a long video, I hope I was able to, you know, accompany you in whatever you were doing. I know that I love listening to long videos while I do stuff and listening to people's stories and stuff. So that's the kind of videos that I want to be making, where I'm just sharing what I'm going through with my art and how I live things, and try to, you know, encourage people and learn from people and just exist together. I think that's all I want to do. So yeah, have a good day. Bye bye. See you maybe in the next video.